Hi there, everyone. This is Mark Plunkett, the pastor of Heritage Presbyterian Church, and this is our weekly devotional for January the 31st, 2022. Have you ever noticed how often water comes up in the Bible? The people talk about water, God talks about water, Jesus talked about water. Water is all over the place in the Middle East. I think it's kind of funny, especially when you look at a map of the Middle East and you realize there's not that many places that have good water. As a matter of fact, there's huge places of desert and dry lands and wilderness and things like that where it's very hard to find water. In modern Israel today, they say that the next war or some future war will be over water rights. That's how scarce the water is becoming. There's even a body of water in Israel today that was in existence in the olden days called the Dead Sea. It had so much salt in it, such a high salt content. Nothing grows for miles around the Dead Sea. It is dead, absolutely dead. But I started thinking about this because today it's supposed to rain here in Houston, and later on in the week it's supposed to really come down. We may get some of that today, and so we're going to get a lot of water, and Houston floods. And so we know a lot about water, but it made me think of these things. Listen to these. In the book of Genesis, the very first part of Genesis, where nothing is there, all right? And it says the Spirit of God floated over the waters of the deep. Okay, so the water was there. Then later on, we have Jonah being swallowed by a great fish. He was thrown off of a boat because a storm came up all of a sudden, and the sailors realized somebody on the boat had done something wrong. And so they drew lots, and Jonah was the one that it was revealed had done something wrong. What had he done? He ran away from God. God told him to go here, and Jonah went there. So there's a good lesson there. But Jonah was swallowed by a great fish. It was in the water, in the fish, for 3 days. We had the New Testament. We had all the baptisms done by John the Baptist at the Jordan River, one of the main rivers, one of the only rivers in that area around Jerusalem where the Baptists could get a lot of room, a lot of water, without having to worry about messing up somebody else's water. You had Moses in the book of Exodus turning the Nile into blood as one of the plagues that God brought upon Egypt to make Pharaoh's heart weaken so that he would let the Hebrews go. So the water in the Nile turned red, and that was used. And then, of course, we have Jesus. All kinds of stories about Jesus and water. Jesus told Peter and his friends that they would become fishers of men. Jesus walked on the water, probably his most amazing miracle, maybe other than raising Lazarus from the dead, but it was a spectacular miracle. We have, at one point, somebody needed a temple tax, and they didn't have any money, so Jesus told one of the fishermen, cast your line out there, the first fish you pull in will have a coin in its mouth, and you can pay the temple tax that way. Interesting. Jesus turned water into wine at the wedding at Cana. They had plenty of water, but they ran out of wine, so Jesus turned it into wine and saved the day. Water used all through the Bible, despite the fact that there's just not a lot of water in the Middle East. I think that's interesting. It's one of those things in the Bible that I think is just really interesting. It may not be important, but it is interesting. And there's lots of things in the Bible that we may not think of as being important, but they might be interesting, or at least interesting to some people. Here's my point today. Pay attention when you read the Bible to the things that jump out at you, even if they're little things, even if nobody else cares but you. Focus on it anyway. See what you can find out. There's all kinds of books, and there's all kinds of websites that if you type anything in from the Bible, you can find out all kinds of things. You want to be careful, of course, because some of the things on the internet they aren't interesting, they're weird, they're kind of wacko, but you can still find some really, really good stuff. So if water is something you're interested in the Bible, like I was, I just looked these things up and started thinking about them, then find out about it. Because whatever you find out about in the Bible, whatever you discover, whatever you dig deep to find, that's gonna open the Bible up just a little bit more to you. That's going to expand your mind just a little bit more. It might even make you curious to ask other questions, and you might go and find those things. So, when you study the Bible, if you're studying with other people, perhaps you want to stick to the main things. But when you're studying it for yourself, go ahead and let yourself, what's called, go down the rabbit trails. All right, go see what's over there. Go see what's over there. To me, it's about water today. Water, water everywhere. Amen.